Hujambo community, and welcome, Akwaba, to Espresso Talk today. I'm Amma Robin, your host and guide, and today we're coming together for a quiet, comforting moment to gently, respectfully, and powerfully close out Black History Month. Now we could dive right on in, but we're not going to do that. Let's first take a moment to prepare ourselves, and then we'll get right to it, I promise. Okay, let's begin by grounding ourselves in the wisdom of our ancestors and the strength of our history. So close your eyes if you can. Take a deep breath in and exhale slowly. Feel your feet on the ground, rooted like a tree, standing strong in history. Breathe in strength, resilience, and all the wisdom passed down to us. Breathe out doubt, exhaustion, and anything that tries to make you feel small. Black history is alive in us. It lives in our breath, in our voices, and in our movement. Asante Sana for doing this grounding exercise with me. Now let's get to it. This is a time to reflect on what we've explored this month, the lessons, the stories, the history, and to ground ourselves in the power and legacy of our culture. This month, we didn't just tell stories. We went well beyond the story to explore the deeper truths, the challenges, and the triumphs that shape Black history and the Black experience today. The space that we've created here is sacred. The air feels quieter today, softer. And as I sit here, I'm thinking about all the ways Black history lives in our daily lives. For me, it's always been in the stories passed down through my family, the traditions carried forward in ways both big and small. It's also important to remind ourselves of Dr. Carter G. Woodson and his vision for Black History Month. Dr. Woodson understood the power of knowing our history and the danger of not knowing it. He warned of the consequences of becoming a negligible factor, those are his words, in the world if we fail to reclaim and honor our past. Black History Month was his way of ensuring that we remember, celebrate, and pass on the stories of our people. This month, I dreamed of a seat at the table. I hope you listened to that podcast story, where I met with many different Black figures in history, including Garrett Morgan, Ida B. Wells, Nina Simone, W.B. Du Bois, Frederick Douglass, and so many others. Sitting with them was a powerful reminder of their brilliance and resilience, and it made me reflect on my own connections to Black history. But we also reflected on something deeply concerning. A young Black student who had never heard of any Black inventors. For him, the absence of Black innovation in history books was not just an oversight. It was a limitation placed on his own dreams. But when he learned about Black inventors, he was immediately filled with possibility. If they could create, invent, and overcome, then he could too. And this is why telling our stories matters. This is why Black history must be a daily practice, not just a yearly celebration. In the story, The Map on the Wall, we discussed how certain objects hold meaning for us. We also uncovered how Black history has been distorted and diminished as a way to inferiorize Black people. But the map, like so many symbols in our lives, was a reminder to me that our history is powerful and undeniable. I thought a lot about the wooden map of Africa that hung in my childhood home. That map was ridiculed by others, but my father reminded me to be proud of it, to see it as a symbol of my heritage and history. But in school, when I was taught a limited and distorted version of history, that map still helped me resist the inferiorization that white society has always tried to push on us. Dr. Woodson spoke about being a negligible factor, and it reminded me of the struggles and triumphs of my ancestors, and it grounded me in the truth of my identity. Many other Black students didn't have that same grounding. They felt inferiorized because they did not know their history. Dr. Woodson's work was meant to change that, to ensure that we know our history, honor it, and avoid becoming a negligible factor in the world. Knowing our history empowers us to stand tall, to resist dehumanization, and to contribute to the world as a powerful force. But we didn't stop there, and we're not going to stop now. This month, we also spend time remembering history through the foods, recipes, ingredients, and spices at African food markets, at Black restaurants, big and small, and the cooking of our elders, like my great-grandmother, Big Mama. I thought of Big Mama's kitchen, the smell of gumbo bubbling on the stove, her laughter filling the air. That kitchen was more than just a room. It was a gathering place, a sanctuary. It was where I learned that food is history. It's survival, celebration, and lots of love. In the story, A Taste of Home, we explored the power of food as history, culture, and community. But beyond the story, we also recognize the importance of Black food spaces, our markets, our restaurants, neighborhoods, and gathering places. These spaces are where we can breathe, be ourselves, and feel safe. But they're constantly under threat, underfunded, under-resourced, over-policed, and in many cases, pushed out of existence. We have to protect these spaces. We have to pour our resources, our love, and our energy into them so that our children can play freely, our elders can be respected, and our culture can thrive without the fear of erasure. Food has always been more than just sustenance. Foods from the diaspora, from the kitchens of the enslaved, and from my family's table are powerful memories of history and culture. Food is also about community, joy, and connection. It's the smell of smoked meats at a barbecue spot, the heat of cayenne in an okra stew, the sweetness of fresh baked pound cake. These foods tell stories of survival, resilience, and celebration. As I sit here, I'm asking myself, how can I honor my history and legacy? For me, it's partly about remembering to live fully and unapologetically in my Blackness. It's about celebrating the beauty and complexity of our culture, about holding on to the traditions and stories that ground me and give me strength. And I want to gently and respectfully remind you of something important too. You have stories from your past that should be remembered and passed down. You can look to the past for answers and inspiration. Also remember that you're creating history today. You can look within to find answers and inspiration, but you can also look around and find support and community. Share your stories, share your lessons, share your experiences with your family, your community, and future generations. This is how Black history is made and stays alive. This is how we avoid becoming a negligible factor. Instead, we become a powerful and enlightened force on this planet. Dr. Woodson saw Black History Month as just one tool in our larger journey of Black empowerment. He never intended for this to be the only time we learn about Black history. He understood that true empowerment comes from daily practice, from continuous learning, storytelling, and reflection. We should keep sharing our history, honoring our traditions, and passing on our knowledge, not just in February, but every single day. And of course, we should keep making history. Our ancestors paved the way for us, and now our children are looking to us to build what comes next. The past holds our wisdom, but the future is in our hands. So as we close out this month, I'm holding on to this feeling, a sense of pride, connection, and hope. Black History Month is a time to reclaim our stories and reconnect with the roots that ground us. But it's not the only time. Every day is an opportunity to celebrate, to honor, to live in the fullness of our history and culture. Take a deep breath with me. Let this moment settle into your spirit like the roots of a tree, grounding you firmly in your identity and truth. That's why we take these comforting moments together, to breathe, to reflect, to hold on to what gives us peace and contentment. These stories, these lessons, they're not just memories. They are blueprints for our empowerment. We can rest so that we can continue. We reflect so that we can act. We find peace so that we can move forward with strength, health, and joy. Wherever you are, whatever your story, know that you're part of something powerful and beautiful. You are Black history in motion. Asante Sana for taking this journey with me. If you want to continue on this path with me and others in this soulful community, sign up for my newsletter, The Normal Beat. You can find it on the website at espressotalktoday.com or on Instagram at Ama Robin L. That's AMA_ROBIN_the letter L. You'll find a dynamic and welcoming community where you can enjoy that sense of belonging, empowerment, and liberation. Until then, take a deep breath, carry this calm with you, and remember, strength, soul, and reparations. Ashe, community.